We build on what matters. We build on relationships. We're Home Matters, for people who want more.
This episode was brought to you in part by Ben Herritage, financial, investment, retirement, money management, and planning. And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com, building on what matters to you.
Hey guys, I'm here with Ben Herritage again, our financial advisor, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about liability insurance today.
That's a fun topic.
Yeah. Everybody needs it.
Everybody needs it. It is one of those scary things that I think we all need it more and more in the world we live in. And it is something that a lot of times I bring up with clients, and they're like, I didn't think we would talk about that. They think we're just talking about investments and things like that. But liability insurance does come up on a regular basis. I frequently tell people, let's look at your liability coverage. Let's make sure you're protected, because it's not a matter of when it's going to be an issue it's not a matter of if it's going to be an issue. It's a matter of when it's going to be an issue. And if you own a home, would you put a pool in and not put a fence around it? I think most responsible people would say, no, of course you have to have a fence. But there are places in South Carolina that the county would not require it. Your insurance company should. So that's just an example of a liability risk. These are things that, from a financial planning standpoint, that we have to be looking at. Do you have proper liability coverage? Do you have a proper liability coverage on your home, your car, your person, everything, your business? I talk a lot about umbrella policies. Mm-hmm. An umbrella policy is a very easy way to add added liability insurance to make sure you're protected.
And to those who don't understand, protected from, give a few examples of what you protected from, what, other than maybe the pool and the fence.
Okay, they're probably an easy example to say that you're driving down the road, you've got a friend with you in the car. You get in a car accident. Your friend gets hurt. Who's at fault for the accident? Who's responsible for your friend's injuries? If you cause the accident, you're liable for those, hence liability. If somebody else causes the accident, your friend may be injured in your vehicle, but the other insurance company, if that person has insurance and proper insurance, that's where lawsuits come in. We all turn on the TV, and you can't watch TV for 30 minutes without seeing the all twos, all nines, whatever the digits are.
Right.
And those are attorneys that classically we call them ambulance chasers for a reason. They're looking for people who've been hurt who can sue somebody.
Right.
And that's where liability coverage comes into play. That can happen in your home. That can happen at work. There we're talking about workers' comp and things like that. But
right.
If there's an issue where you are at risk for someone suing you, that's a liability. You can insure that risk.
Right.
And a lot of times that's the trick, is we are the principle of insurance. You are spending pennies to cover dollars. So we are at risk every day when we drive. We are at risk if we own property or own a home. That's a risk. You go to an insurance company and say, hey, if somebody gets hurt on my property, I don't want them suing me for $400,000 for medical injuries. So you have liability insurance to protect that.
Right.
Same with your automobile. That's the easiest one, because we all drive so much and you see accidents all the time.
Right. And you have the choice usually with your insurance company of getting, but you can also not get liability, correct?
Well, there are state minimums.
Yeah.
But they're a joke.
Yes.
It's like, don't even think about state minimums. Imagine if you hit, God forbid, a school bus.
Yeah.
Full of kids. Right. I mean, your state minimum is not going to cover anything. Just because you are only covered at a minimum does not mean you're not responsible.
That's right.
For the bigger amount.
Right. I know a good point of things that people don't think about: golf carts. We had at one time a teenage son, and we put the most in on a golf cart because he and all his friends, are on. Then we were going to take it off. Then my niece and nephew got big enough to drive. It's like,
right,
just leave it there.
Just protect that, because people. Well, just recently, this past year, there was that tragic accident down on the coast where someone died.
Yeah,
they were in a golf cart and a drunk driver hit them.
Right.
Now, your golf cart policy is not going to cover their liability for hitting you, but it's an easy thing to get hurt on. and especially when you've got other people outside of your family, friends,
That's right.
kids, teenagers. That's a risk you have.
Right. And, a lot of people they're like, you have insurance on your golf cart? I'm like, yes, I do.
Well, in your boat. I mean, how many people,
Yeah.
we live in a lake community.
Right.
I love being out on Lake Murray, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody doing something really dumb on a Saturday afternoon, and there's only so much law enforcement can catch out there.
Right.
But
Like letting your children tube in the big wide open space.
well, during COVID, at some point, there was a huge sale on jet skis that I missed. And those jet skis whip around the lake like they own it. And they're trying to jump wakes. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. It's just some teenage kid. And I've turned into the old man, get off my lawn, like with jet skis.
Right.
But jet skis can cause a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And anytime you've got a watercraft that can go 60, 70 miles an hour on the water, and you got a 16, 17-year-old irresponsible teenager on that,
Right.
I mean, people can die, people can get hurt, and boats and damage with them is not inexpensive.
No.
And again, it's a liability risk. So instead of accepting that risk and self-insuring that risk, because that's what you're doing,
Right.
you're accepting all of that yourself, it's just easy to insure that risk away
Right.
as much as possible.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and a lot of people, and I'm going to have to go back and look, but a lot of people don't think about it for your home. I mean, you have a neighborhood gathering, or you have, 3 other couples come over for a dinner and somebody got hurt. Well, you wouldn't think that your friends would want that, but they might.
Right.
Want payment for, or have their injuries covered, or what. I mean, they just tripped.
Mhm.
Could be anything.
Well, and a lot of times it's people you don't know, and especially like I have teenage daughters.
Right.
So, and you've had kids at home. How often were people in your house that you didn't really know them though?
All the
Or you may have known that teenager well, you didn't know their parents that well.
Right.
So now we're dealing with, if they get hurt doing something a dumb teenager's going to do, you could be responsible.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for helping us clear up liability insurance, and look forward to the next time we get together.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
This episode was brought to you in part by Ben Herritage, financial, investment, retirement, money management, and planning. And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com, building on what matters to you.